So we got the full summary for 112 here, and we're seeing, or should I say hearing, what Mars is confronting at the end of the chapter, because that was like the big speculation in yesterday's spoilers, because he finds where the Vegapunk transmission is coming from, but then he suddenly sees something above him, and now we're getting more insight into what it is, and we're going to talk about it. Also, Luffy, like we talked about before, is getting damaged in this chapter. He's running out of gas, so let's just get into it. So the chapter starts with the marine port saying all remaining pacifistas in Egghead Island have been defeated. Not mentioned in the report, but Nus Joro defeated them. So yeah, we saw Venus going around the island, his big debut display of power, cutting up all the pacifistas in his hybrid Zoan form. And I guess this means that Bonnie isn't going to have any of these pacifistas. I thought maybe that would have been a cool little gimmick for her coming out of this arc, like she controls some pacifistas, you know, now that she has control over them, given what Vegapunk did with his contingency protocol thing. But no, Venus destroyed them all with the quickness. Assumed at this point he's ridiculously powerful. He may be the strongest Gorosei at this point, possibly. In the northeast coast, Frankie defeats Vice Admiral Red King with strong right. Bonnie turns Vice Admiral Pomsky into a kid and kicks him. Vice Admiral Guillotine is shocked by how cruel Bonnie is. So that's great, a W here for Frankie, and really showing us how much further along the lesser Straw Hats are than just simply a Vice Admiral, which we could have surmised for ourselves at this point, but it's just nice confirmation. And Bonnie too, and it's funny that he's saying he's shocked by how cruel she is, because Bonnie is a kid as well, so her kicking a kid isn't really too egregious. No Zoro and Jinbei in this chapter. That's kind of disappointing, but it's fine, because I'm pretty sure Zoro is going to show up in the next chapter, and we're going to talk about that. You already know what I'm going to say about that, but we're going to go over it again anyway. In the laboratory, York leads Mars to the room with monitors, where Vegapunk's message began to broadcast. Mars shoots a huge beam to destroy the room in an instant, but the broadcast doesn't stop. Whoa, so Mars has special beam cannon powers or something. We knew that the Gorosei had some beastly mystical Zoan devil fruits with multiple abilities, but we didn't really know all of them. But now we're seeing that Mars, you know, the Itsumade Zoan thing, can shoot beams. York explains that the real source of the broadcast is a newest version of the Denden Mushi created by Vegapunk called the Distribution Denden Mushi, that it's hidden somewhere else. Mars plans to destroy the whole laboratory to eliminate that distribution Denden Mushi quickly, but York stops him, saying that the weapon development floor and the power plant are also here. And if the laboratory is destroyed, the destruction will be so strong that it would destroy Punk Records too. Okay, so that immediately stops an easy plan for, you know, Mars to just destroy that place with his beam powers. Punk Records is like the big open egg thing on top of Egghead. It's essentially Vegapunk's brain, I guess, right? Along with his memories and all the data. And I guess it's important to keep that because of the data and everything. It's even possible that York needs that because the information for the Mother Flame is on there. Unless York just knows how to do it off the top of her head, since she is technically an aspect of Vegapunk. But Punk Records is very crucial, but you'd also think that the Gorosei just wouldn't care about the proto-internet at this point, as long as their skeletons don't come out of their closet in front of the world. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Hofsco, because Hofsco has their new Porto Max electric scooter for commute and grocery shopping. It has a 500 watt peak power motor with a max speed at about 19 miles per hour. It has an uphill climbing of about 15 degrees, has a max range of 35 miles, and a 36 volt long range lithium ion battery. It also has 3 speed modes: L, which is low, for 4 miles per hour, M for medium for 12 miles per hour, and then high if you're really trying to get somewhere quick with 19 miles per hour. It also has a double brake system, which is highly responsive and energy saving and improves your riding safety, whether it's rain or shine. So I really love this thing. It is so easy and convenient. I love just tapping on the throttle and letting this thing go, especially for me because I don't have a car and I live downtown and I'm constantly going places and needing to pick things up. So having the utility rear cargo basket is really a game changer. I could just load this stuff up with groceries or a package or anything that I'm doing that day, and I don't really have to worry about it anymore. It's such a great way to get me from from point A to point B. And I also love the folding aspect of it, so I can just store it easily, whether it's in a car or in my house somewhere. And it also has these great smart headlights that will auto light up when entering a dark place. It, of course, improves the safety of riding at night. So guys, you can get your very own Hofsco Porto Max electric scooter by clicking the link in the description, because right now you can get the limited time deal of $50 off by using code MTV. Again, I'll have the link in the description. Thanks, guys. While they talk, Mars senses a small voice coming from Punk Records. He thinks it must be that new Denden Mushi, so he flies towards up there. So yeah, this is where Mars is going to confront that thing or whatever it is, and that's going to happen at the end, so we'll come back to it. Cut to Stussy and Kaku. He's already conscious. Kaku asks Stussy if she's been abandoned by the Straw Hat crew just after she betrayed CP0 for them. And Stussy says, I choose to remain here to complete my last job. I will shut down Frontier Dome while Straw Hat escapes. Okay, so finally coming back to Stussy and Kaku here. Stussy saying that she's going to shut down Frontier Dome here. Frontier Dome is like the big dome that we see around, I'm pretty sure, Punk Records and the top of Egghead, right? It's where Kaku originally tried to infiltrate, but like if you cross the lines, a laser beam activates. It's like the defensive system that surrounds Labaphase. So I guess Stussy is staying babyface here. She's not going back to heel, which is understandable since she betrayed everyone for Vegapunk. You know, kind of since Vegapunk is kind of like her dad in a way, I guess. Since he made her, she's like a clone of the original Stussy. So shutting that down, I guess we'll trap Mars in there, possibly. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm also curious to see if Stussy leaves Egghead with everyone else at the end. Cut to Nami's group. Usopp has prepared the Kude Burst in the Sunny, but without Vegaforce 1, the Sunny can't fly far enough to get to the sea. And Edison says to trust him, and then he flies away to go through the barrier. Edison says, external damage simulation at 78%. I won't die yet. Here I go. Oh, all right. So Edison, the little Vegapunk, he's going to do something to make the Sunny be able to shoot out of the island without the assistance of Vegaforce 1, the robot, because that was originally their plan. But that's not going to work out because he's done. And considering that Edison is taking damage here, I guess he's going to sacrifice himself so that they're able to escape. Meaning that we're down to now 2 Vegapunks, or at least 2 good Vegapunks. York, the evil one, is essentially going to go with the Gorosei, but we might either be left with Lilith and Edison, or another one is going to sacrifice themselves, and then I guess we'll just be left with 1 satellite of Vegapunk left to go with the Straw Hats to Elbaf. Cut to Luffy's group. Jupiter sucks air into his mouth, and with such force that Luffy, Dory, and Broggy can't move forward, and they're pulled back. Luffy's face is very funny again, but Luffy has an idea. Darn you! If you're so hungry, how about you eat this building? Luffy kicks an entire building to separate it from the ground, and then he throws it into Jupiter's mouth. After that, Luffy runs out of energy and changes to Old Man Luffy. Broggy gives him Elbaf's special emergency food, Hakarl. I know I said that wrong. Sorry, all the Icelandic people watching this. But apparently it's fermented shark meat, and Luffy doesn't find it delicious at all. But he immediately turns back to his normal form, not Gear 5. Mercury is chasing after them, so Luffy uses Gomu Gomu no Red Rock on Mercury's head, but ends up hurting his own fist, since Mercury's head is too tough. Okay, so no more Gear 5, he's gassed out, which is understandable. That's kind of like the gimmick of Gear 5 at this point. But I guess he's in his base form at this point, right? It says normal form, and he's hitting Mercury with the Red Rock, which is normally a pretty powerful attack, but no way is it hurting Mercury. So finally putting some more respect on the Gorosei here. Base Luffy, understandably, not strong enough to do anything to the Gorosei, actually getting hurt hitting him. Cut to Labaphase, Saturn is climbing up the cloud. We can see his legs reaching where Nami's group is. So yeah, I'll put on the map where Nami's group is at this point. They're pretty much where Punk Records is, like the Labaphase. So Saturn is going up there as well. Now I guess that's the ticking clock for Nami and Usopp. Cut to Northeast Coast. To Bonnie's group again. One of the giants is cut down suddenly. Nusjoro appears, standing in front of Elbaf's ship. Nusjoro is scary in this panel. Bonnie says, huh, who are you? So yeah, this is what we were talking about yesterday. Venus encountering Bonnie here. Obviously, he would take her down in one shot, at least in my opinion. So someone needs to save her. And like we said earlier, it's probably going to be Zoro. Why? Because Zoro definitely has some kind of connection to Venus here. And I think after this arc is over and, you know, going into the final arc of the series, he will likely be Zoro's final opponent or his penultimate opponent, depending on where Mihawk lands in that timeline. And then also, he would be repaying Bonnie for saving him way back at Sabaody, back when he like tried to execute Charlos. So that would be a nice full circle thing here, and also setting up Zoro versus Venus in the future. Cut to Punk Records in the last page of the chapter. Mars turns back to human form and walks inside while Vegapunk's message is still emitting. Shaka says, Stella, we have 1 minute left. And Vegapunk says, I know that. Mars finds the distribution Dendenmushi on the floor in a dark room. And he says, so this is it. You're out of luck, Vegapunk. Suddenly, Mars hears something strange. Japanese sound effects that is used for bubbles or liquids. Mars looks up and observes something with a serious face. End of chapter. All right, here we go. What is Mars encountering here? And again, I don't know. I would love for somebody to just tell me in the comments what this is. Or maybe I'm just going to be stupid like always and I should have saw it coming the whole time. But I don't know what this is. It could be Dragon. Maybe this is Dragon's rain powers, if he does have rain powers, and they're not just exclusively wind powers. Or it could be something new. It could be some hidden experiment that Vegapunk had, similar to Smiley from Punk Hazard. I don't know.
Or it's the ancient robot, but I don't know why it would make those bubbly or watery sound effects, but I mean, I guess it could be him since he is a thing at the moment.
Or it's that thing that we saw on the monitors way back earlier on in this arc. You know, when like Shaka was observing the security cameras, he was like, what's that shadow? And it was like destroying them. And we thought at the time, oh, that's gotta be Saturn. And it wasn't Saturn. We still don't know what that is. I guess it was York, maybe. But if it wasn't York, it could be whatever this thing is, and it's just some wild card. And if it's not that, then maybe it's Caribou? Like, Caribou hasn't left the island yet? Because we thought that he was going to leave with the Blackbeard Pirates, but he's actually staying here because, I don't know, they have some kind of agenda that they're not finished with yet, maybe? Not really sure, but let me know in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.